Endrick to West Ham, Chris Wood and Adama back under Nuno, even our chief data analysts being headhunted. Bowen's away with England, but somehow rumours of him being open to leaving pop up. Former Hammers had their say this week too. Benrahma back in the headlines, Kudus firing back at critics, Rice winding fans up, and the Ginger Pele spotted in the away end. Add Zirkzee links, Maguire talk, and Forest collapsing without Nuno. It's been a mad week for West Ham. Let's get into it. So first up, the big headline grabber. West Ham have been linked with none other than Real Madrid wonderkid Endrick. According to reports in Spain, Madrid are open to a January loan for the 19-year-old, and West Ham are said to be one of the clubs interested alongside Valencia and Real Sociedad. Now, let's be honest, it's a fun headline, but surely it must just be pure fantasy. It's one of those rumours that gets fans talking more than it gets agents working. If we're talking realistic striker options though, that brings us nicely to Chris Wood and even Adama Traoré. Reports say Nuno Espirito Santo wants to reunite with both of them. Wood worked under Nuno at Forest, scoring 32 goals in 60 games. He's 33 now, but the logic's clear. Big target man, holds it up, lets Bowen and Somerville run off him, exactly the sort of striker Nuno loves. Adama Traoré's another name mentioned, and while I've never rated his end product as a late-game super sub against tired defenses, he'd be lethal, basically an Antonio replacement. But if that's the plan, we probably should have just kept Antonio. And let's be honest, Nicholas Füllkrug just isn't cutting it right now, and Nuno doesn't seem all that keen on Callum Wilson either, so expect movement up front in January. And speaking of strikers, this crazy stat's been doing the rounds on social media. In 49 games across 5 different forwards, Wilson, Füllkrug, Ferguson, Scamacca, and Ings, they've combined for just 6 goals at the London Stadium. Erling Haaland, in just 3 games there, has the same number. That says it all really. That's why Nuno is in dire need for a proper number 9 who actually fits the system. On that note, Team Talk claim West Ham are being kept informed on Joshua Zirkzee's situation. He's open to a January move and wants to stay in the Premier League. It's early days and I can't say with confidence whether he's actually decent or not. What I do know is that United fans do say he's inconsistent and not quite the prodigy they thought they signed. Behind the scenes, there's also another interesting story. Ex-West Ham employee reports that Maximilian Hahn, our chief data analyst and one of the brains behind the Magic Diouf deal, is being headhunted. Schalke in Germany see him as a future sporting director, and even Southampton and Blackburn are showing interest. On the one hand, it shows we finally have people other clubs actually rate, which is a good sign, but if he leaves, it's yet another rebuild in the recruitment team that we really don't need right now. Now onto Jarrod Bowen, and seriously, Football Insider have outdone themselves here. They put out a so-called scoop claiming Bowen could be tempted to quit West Ham if results don't improve. 2 days later, the same outlet ran another story saying he's happy, settled, and not going anywhere. Classic Football Insider. Since running Hammer Bites, I've really learned just how much nonsense that site churns out. They'll say one thing on Friday and the complete opposite on Sunday. So let's bin that and move on. Bowen's over at England camp right now, called up again by Thomas Tuchel. He looks sharp, confident, and very much focused on football, not transfers. I'm curious to see what Tuchel does with him in this international break, whether he will start him or find a way to get him more involved. It must be demoralizing for him knowing he's been delivering on the pitch, but getting overlooked by Tuchel. A name I didn't expect to see back in English headlines is Saeed Benrahma. The former Hammer, now playing in Saudi Arabia, is reportedly facing trial in the UK over an alleged dog incident from 2 years ago involving his 2 dogs. He's denied both charges and the case continues later this month. Just a strange one to read about, to be honest. Thinking back to Benrahma, I feel like Moyes trained out his skill and flair. We bought a player who did rainbow flicks and Rabonas, but he left with that flair gone from his game. Back to current matters, that defeat at Arsenal. Let's be honest, we offered nothing in that game. 32% possession, 4 shots, and an expected goals of just 0.49. It's not on Nuno, he's walked into a mess, but it showed just how much work he's got ahead of him. Still, there was one surprising positive. Arsenal joined Forest as the only teams not to score from a cross against us this season. Considering how bad we've been defending those, that's real progress. Clearly Nuno's been drilling that hard on the training pitch, and it's starting to show. And while we're on the topic of defending, here's an interesting one from the Daily Mirror. Harry Maguire is expected to leave Manchester United on a free in the summer of 2026, with no new contract on the table. He's a player Moyes always wanted at West Ham but never got. Could he finally end up in claret and blue? He's the type of defender we could really use, strong in the air, dominant on set pieces, but at 33, maybe that ship's sailed. There was also a bright moment when Callum Marshall came on for his Premier League debut, replacing Fulkrug just before the hour mark. Nuno said afterwards he's been impressed in training, good finisher, sharp movement and real energy. For a 20-year-old, he didn't look out of place at all, and bringing him on ahead of Wilson says a lot. Nuno clearly wants to give youth a proper chance. Then there's Declan Rice. He scores against us, refuses to celebrate, but still makes a point of goading the away end. The fans were giving him stick, singing, "You should have left for a big club," and he knew exactly what he was doing when he smirked at them. Then after the game, he posts that same moment with the caption, "Important win going into the break." I just don't see the point in that. If you're going to goad the fans, you might as well just celebrate. Add to that Arsenal blasting Ice Ice Baby at full time. Just petty. It's a shame really, because most fans had made peace with his move. But moments like that, yeah, they change the mood. And since we're talking about former Hammers, Mohamed Kudus has spoken out on criticism. He said, "Being talked about almost every day, it's hard to deal with. People who don't know you, they watch you for 90 minutes and then there's judgment on who you are. I don't think that's fair, but that's part of the job. That's why I say, don't be famous." But honestly, I think the criticism from West Ham fans was justified. It really did look like he downed tools towards the end, the effort wasn't there, and then to top it off, he left for Spurs saying, "I only wanted Spurs." You can't do that and then complain about criticism. So while Rice and Kudus was busy throwing subtle jabs towards West Ham, one man showed what West Ham really means. James Collins, the Ginger Pele himself, was spotted in the away end at the Emirates, right there with the fans. The moment everyone clocked him, the whole stand broke into 10 more years, 10 more years, Ginger Pele, playing football the West Ham way. The same tune we used to sing for Declan Rice, now for someone who will always be West Ham through and through. And finally, a quick look up at Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou is under massive pressure, 7 games without a win since replacing Nuno, fans singing "sacked in the morning," players reportedly unhappy, and the club sliding fast. It's mad, because I remember loads of West Ham fans, even myself at one point, being open to Ange as our manager. But football moves quick. Nuno's left there, taken all the noise with him, and they've completely capitulated. Sometimes the grass isn't greener, and maybe, just maybe, we've actually got the right man to fix this club. That's all for now, a packed week of West Ham stories from wild transfer links to some proper reality checks. If you're finding these updates useful, hit subscribe and like the video, it really helps Hammerbites grow. And we'll be back soon with the next update as Nuno gets to work over the break. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to Hammerbites for the latest West Ham news every day.